Thanks everyone for coming. My name is Jurgis Orups. I'm from ClusterPoint. I'm developer myself. I'm CTO and co-founder of this company. And today I'm gonna talk about how we as a team in the ClusterPoint grew up the technology company which currently runs the database as a service offering. And in this presentation, I'm gonna go through our story, how we build that. Okay. Yeah. So this is an outline about some topics I'm gonna speak about. So we'll start about some problem definition. What the hell we kind of started to think about making our company. We'll do some intro about history, our challenges, which is quite crucial thing in every startup. And also we'll touch some technical aspects of our database as a service, how we made it, what behind the scenes. Okay, let's move on with some basics or a bit of the history and definition of problem. So, yeah, in history, there were quite a lot of various technologies which deal with data management. And actually, each technology has been created to solve some problem which was related or relevant to a specific time frame. However, nowadays, it's actually another problem that we have so many technologies scattered or fragmented across the kind of technology space, that there's quite a problem for us to understand which use and which is the better for my project and things like that. So there's no one complete and flexible data management platform actually to implement our crazy ideas about modern and scalable applications. So in ClusterPoint, we are trying to solve this problem of this various technology fragmentation. So what we build, it's like a spaceship. So it can handle a huge amount of data. So it can handle a lot of load. It runs just the speed of light, and it's very powerful, and it has a powerful and flexible engine. So you can do whatever you want with your data. So the question there is, does it make sense to go by car if you have the spaceship to travel? I guess my personal kind of take on that is, I guess I would take a spaceship if it does all things that I said and it's quite reliable, right? Yep. Let's rewind the time a bit. Before we created the company, ClusterPoint, we were actually quite young students. At that time, I was only just 19 when we started to think how to defeat guys in Google. Maybe not like a cat here is trying to defeat the dog, so we weren't trying to defeat the whole Google, but at least the leg of the Google, right? So we created the first distributed system, which was called Siets.lv, which was the first Latvian search portal. So the design and the application is like early 2000s, right? So everything is aligned that time. So but at that time, we did quite a lot of interesting things. We made the project bigger than Google did according to the data site that Google at that time crawled for Latvian internet. We create quite good effort there to make this nice search portal. We did some nice features like stemming in Latvian language, which Google didn't do that at that time, and things like that. So we were proud and gained some experiences of working with a distributed system. So it's about early 2000, where there's the term of NoSQL or distributed database so popular as it is nowadays, but that was a great experience. Okay, then let's move on to the time when we come together from previous company where we worked with this cx.lv portal, and we come together and establish the company. So it was in 2006, and thanks to our investors, specifically Imprimatur Capital, which fueled up our crazy ideas, we established company, and we haven't forget that that was a nice feeling to defeat the Google. So we think, okay, we have smart heads, let's do that away. So we went for round 2 to challenge Google, and we made localized version of the product we called Search Appliance. So Search Appliance is the hardware and software combination which give the possibility to make search in your corporate data. So you can imagine Google portal in your corporation or your company. So that was also a very great experience by reaching out our customers and getting back feedback from them. So actually we moved a bit towards the database niche or implementation or business development of the company, because it turned out that the pure search is not interesting anymore for the companies. So we moved to the database side more and more, gained some first customers, commercial customers like business directories, some e-commerce sites, some public sector, and yeah, but at the same time it was very hard to position ourselves as a database, because when we started to go to customer and saying, oh, maybe you can try this database which is better at that and that and that, and they say, what kind of the database it is? Do they have relations, transactions, everything? And then that was we get quite hard times explaining that there is also another type of data management possible. But however, on 2009, when NoSQL trend kind of ramp up, so that was good backup for us, saying that we are not the unique or crazy guys who kind of tries to turn around the database market. So we say that, okay, there is another type of databases available out there. So that helped us much. So we built, since that we moved to the NoSQL much more. And nowadays, there's the NoSQL. It's a bit fragmented into some specific use cases, and for cluster point, we fit into document-oriented database. So this is our current kind of niche where we are playing around. So what actually then is a cluster point? So it's technology which can be kind of set up on as a service or on-prem version. So you can install and deploy on your server, and it's document-oriented, so it's distributed. So we do all this thing about the scalability, and one of the important things that we got punched early times of our company about ACID compliant transactions, which is quite unique thing in NoSQL market. So everything is speaking about eventually consistency and things like that. Why NoSQL world doesn't have this strict consistency, ACID compliance, and things like that. So we kind of have quite a lot of efforts put into this kind of functionality. And in parallel with our technology, we also created the database as a service. So it's cloud. Yeah, and actually, this is the pictures how cloud looks like on an infrastructure level. So you see there's tens and hundreds and even thousands of servers racked together, wired with network cables. So so we have 2 sites of those data centers, one in Europe, here in Riga actually, and another one in US, in Dallas. So we run 2 sites currently of our database as a service. So you see that this is also quite interesting from technician point of view to manage that kind of network and hardware. In very early in presentation, I also said about the powerful engine that we have, and as every car we have some interface to interact with the car, to drive the car, right? So the same applies also for database. We need some language to speak with that. So and it's very crucial from extensibility and what you can do with the database. So before I go to the next slide, I would like to kind of you to stretch your hands and ask who knows JavaScript here in the house. Oh, nice. And who knows the SQL? Okay. And I guess that please raise the hands who knows both technologies. Okay. So it turns out that you actually are experts in our query language because we merged together two technologies, JavaScript and SQL, to make the language how you speak with the database. So it turned out for us, and it was it was a pleasure to find out after we invented this query language that those two technologies are most discussed, or let's say most popular on Stack Overflow in 2015. So that's spot on of what we do. So that was an extra push for our team that we are on the right direction. Yes, the query language. So as it kind of you can determine from the name of the language, it's based on SQL. So you can imagine that you have SQL language which you can extend with the JavaScript. You can execute. You can do the same things that you can do with SQL, but you can solve like open-ended computational problems using the JavaScript. So you can actually plug JavaScript into the SQL. And in next versions, we are going to add some support for joins between multiple documents. So actually, it will be quite easy to shift from relational database to document-oriented, in this case, in a cluster point. So that was also one of our goals, is not to kind of disrupt existing kind of developers of switching to the new technologies, but we want to save what are the best things on our previous technologies. So yeah, I guess this is the simplest query you can run on our cluster point. So it's pure SQL. But let's move on and check out what we can do more. This is the insert statement of JSSQL. So what we did, we extended our insert SQL insert statement using JSON strings. So you see that you can actually store JSON. Equally well, you can also ingest XML as well, and even the binary data. So in single database, you can store 3 types of formats. If we already put the data, so it's quite obvious that we need also to pull the data back in application. So let's imagine a real-world application. In this case, this is the Amazon excerpt from Amazon web search, where we're searching for some good. And on the left side, we have so-called facets or categories. And one of the types of categories are price buckets. So they are actually quite dynamic, and you can kind of try to imagine how you would achieve the same functionality in your technology stack. And let's see how we could do that on the cluster point. So it turns out that you need just to write one function in JavaScript, which as an input argument takes the price and determines the right price bucket. And it returns just a string which makes this price bucket. And when we put this price function into group by clause, we automatically say database to group the data by the groups which are dynamically made on the fly. So this JavaScript code and this select statement, which is below, will get executed in parallel in database in all nodes, in all shards. So you will get the data back quite fast. Yeah, so this is like a small example to get some view on what is JSSQL and what you can achieve that. So we are kind of a company, and the developer is proud of that. So yeah, we are just 4 minutes to go. So I would like to kind of wrap up 2 things about ClusterPoint as a company. So we are building the spaceship for data management. So this is thing number one. So it has capabilities to deal with a huge amount of data. And it's very crucial from developers' point of view to speak with a database as easy as possible. So that's why we implemented this JS SQL. Yeah, the question where we are and how do you how we reach out to our customers or our community. We are very kind of excited about this map because due to the fact that we went through some hackathon series around the world, we have so many places where we've been, as in conferences or in hackathons or in customer meetings. So we will, I guess, we will fill the map more and more in the future. Those are a couple of customers that we have currently running our database. So as a technology, we have some experience in 9 years. So we have various types of customers and various use cases. So it's very kind of interesting and hard work at the same time to work with them. But we are very pleased about the result that we gain for our customers. Yeah, and the call to action would be like join our community. So we are outgrowing our community worldwide. Here are some 3 pictures of personally me being there. The first one on the left side is the Hackathon Garage 48, where we went as a sponsor. So there's a team which made the great application of public transportation to estimate possible jams, traffic jams for public transport. In the middle, there's a picture from San Mateo, California, so where we were with a hackathon series. Those guys made great application about taxi data aggregation, like aggregating data from various taxi providers and making a nice application, how to kind of order taxi and things like that. And the last one is from Brooklyn, New York, where we went also in hackathon, where I'm giving the workshop. So yeah, we are growing, and you're welcome to join our community and be a part of our product development. Yep. That's shortly about the cluster point, about how we went from nowhere to the database as a service or database technology. And thank you for your attention, and I'm ready for Q&A.
All right, guys, we have like 3 minutes for questions.
Yep.
Maybe I'm interested mostly in the features of cluster points. One of them is basically, do you provide something embedded encryption? Like most of databases don't provide something like this, but so super enterprise version of Cluster provides encryption, but in most cases you have to create your own, like special software layer which will provide data encryption. So does Cluster provide something like this?
Yeah. So the one way is just to encrypt all data that comes into the database, but then it doesn't make sense because the data are encrypted and you can't do any queries on that, right? So then the currently answer is no, we don't have the encryption built into the database level, but as you already mentioned, there's ways how we can kind of make the encrypted file system, for example, or a bit lower level encryption. But yeah, we are thinking about this thing as well, because next year we will open source our product, our core product, and we will still work. We'll work on enterprise features, and encryption definitely will be one of them.
Your customers only in Latvia or worldwide?
Historically, as we started here in Latvia, we have kind of the set of customers that we have mostly in Latvia. But this year we are reaching out from Latvia to international, go worldwide. So yeah, we can't list them yet because we are in the process. But currently we run our database as a service, which already is global. We have like 5,000 subscribers for our database as a service. So yes, we have customers there, but I think that I will list them if they will be like Fortune 1000. So But definitely we will go to that as well.
For your query language, you said that you have somehow merged SQL and JavaScript code together, and you claim that it's kind of easier. For me, being a developer, it's easier to use SQL, like only SQL, because that's what I'm familiar with, and I can predict what will be the outcome if I write this, because SQL is something everybody uses.
Yeah.
How did you get to the point where you decided to merge these two things?
The problem that we are solving with JSSQL is that SQL is quite limited language. So there's not so many possibilities to extend with like custom code. Okay, we have some products which have user-defined functions and storage procedures, things like that. But we wanted to make the same approach to be kind of available for wider developers, because JavaScript nowadays is kind of very popular language. That's why we choose JavaScript as a procedural language for SQL. So the answer is JavaScript because it's very popular, and why JavaScript and SQL because we need to extend SQL like limited possibilities. So to make like open-ended things, like MapReduce things, actually you can now code using JSSQL.
Okay, fine.
Let's wrap up.
Okay, thank you very much.